Galactic and Earth History. Part 1. Researched, written, and produced by Aaron Scudder. Special thanks to Ashiana Dean for source material. Why is humanity in a state of chaos? Why have we been at war for so long? Why have we been plagued with disease, lack, and misery? Are these natural conditions? Is humanity a product of the Big Bang, without conscious design, pond scum that grew legs? The progeny of a breeding pair placed in a magical garden? Are we an amnesiac race on a quarantine planet? Why have we, as a human race, been suffering for most of human history? Why, if we were immortal, have we been dying young? Why don't we remember who we are and our galactic heritage? Why do we tend to psychopathic behavior? Why don't most people know that our spirit and consciousness are directly connected to God? This is the hidden history of the galaxy and the human species, interpreted from ancient texts, close encounters of the third and fourth kind, and mystics. It explains anomalies in our history, such as the extraordinarily long lives of patriarchs, and offers an extraterrestrial explanation for the giants, Anunnaki, Nephilim, and Elohim, referred to in ancient biblical and Sumerian texts. What evidence is available for a more comprehensive human and galactic history? Communication with physical and non-physical entities, close encounters of the third and fourth kind. The testimony of Ashiana Dean, Ul Bielik, Travis Walton, Stuart Swerdlow, Juliet, and Javan Carter and others. Direct channeling, as in the information provided by Lissa Royal. Memories from previous lives, as in the work of Dr. Shakuntala Modi, Edgar Casey, and others. Access to the Akashic records for the history of past lives. Archaeology, evidence from direct physical archaeology, such as bones of early humans and written records left in stone or clay tablets recovered worldwide. Zachariah Sitchin was one of the few people who could read the Sumerian cuneiform on the clay tablets scattered in the deserts of Iraq and Iran. Michael Tallinger, in his book Slave Species of the Gods, provides a further interpretation of the clay tablets and, together with archaeological evidence, a further understanding of these ancient gods. Brian Sykes traces mitochondrial DNA in different root races in his book The Seven Daughters of Eve. Archaeologist Michael Cremo has uncovered bones of anatomically correct humans that predate previous evidence of humans. The book Worlds in Collision by Immanuel Velikovsky explains ancient texts concerning cataclysms in our ancient past. Lloyd Pye was the caretaker of the Starchild skull, which is physical skeletal evidence of alien life on this planet. The Earth Chronicles series by Zachariah Sitchin provides evidence of alien intervention in our ancient history based on cuneiform inscriptions on clay tablets found in Mesopotamia. Exposure to alien technology. Preston Nichols, Bob Lazar, Val Valerian, William Cooper, and Stephen Greer all claim to have worked for secret government projects and have published intriguing information involving extraterrestrials and advanced alien technology. Chapter 1 Introduction. Why are we born into suffering and not experiencing paradise? Why, if we were immortal, has our lifespan been reduced? And why don't we remember our space brothers and where we came from? Why do we tend towards neurosis and psychosis and forget our connection to creation? We do not know the answers to these questions because we are in the middle of a huge drama unfolding since the middle of the Atlantean period. For many, Atlantis seems like a fictional place. Mainstream experts base their opinions of our past on manuscripts, clay tablets, and bones, and then guess what those might mean, while ignoring contradicting opinions. Our culture is being fed partial facts and guesses as if they are proven facts. The assumption that we evolved from single-cell organisms does not hold up to scrutiny. If you think that organisms as complex as the human beings could evolve in a few thousand years because of genetic mutations, then you would have to conclude that we have been deliberately misled. This deliberate misinformation campaign has been to deprive humanity knowledge of our true spiritual origins. We are dying young because of a genetic mutation rendered at the deepest level of our DNA template. Because of this mutation, our chromosomes and gene codes behave not as intended, and does not function on its original divine blueprint. We find ourselves trapped as consciousness in a mortal form with a very short lifespan. By the time we are 35 years old, we start to feel this deterioration when the death hormone starts to kick in and makes us tired as the body starts to kill itself with chemical toxins. Science calls this aging. However, science is based on a small amount of knowledge. Ancient knowledge has been hidden from us to make us easier to control and to prevent us from remembering our true divinity and purpose. In the beginning, all is God and everything comes from God, the Creator. Cosmic creation was set in motion because of love and the desire for God to experience itself. God wanted company and to know itself in structure and form, so it sent portions of its consciousness into that structure. Creation would have independent life, free will, and the ability to create through thought, yet there is nothing other than God. This is a way for God to experience themselves in duality, learn, and then reintegrate into the whole. Duality started with a large bubble of light split off from God, and then other bubbles split into the void. In the beginning was the void, and God spoke the word. Creation was manifested first through the void, the spirit, and the first expression of God's consciousness. The next was sound or vibration, divine feminine, another portion of God's consciousness. From the combination of sound, the divine masculine, and the void came light. Unfortunately, for many eons now, the fallen races have been trying to convince us that God was created in the image of man. That is not true, as we were created in the image of God. God is consciousness, omnipotent, omnipresent, and eternal. We are also these things, yet we still need to remember. Over the years, we have been taught that we are sinful, lowly creatures and that angels are much better than humans. The fallen angels gave humanity these stories of hierarchies of angels. Humans were the original angels and were called the Oraphim, the children of light. Where is God? There is no being, space, or place outside of God. Therefore, there is no way to be outside or away from God. But there is a way to forget, and that is when we feel that God is somewhere else. That is when we feel lonely, frightened, and scared because we don't know what we are a part of or connected to. Forgetting that we are part of and connected to God makes us vulnerable to fairy tales told by people with bad intentions that teach us to look outside ourselves for God. We are told that God is in that mountain or in that burning tree or will come if we say, "Hail Mary." You cannot do or say anything to find God because you are God. The lies of God being out there somewhere designed to distract us from the truth that God is inside of us. When we understand that we are all God, then we will never settle for someone trying to take that knowledge of God away. We are made of God's force and can bring more of God's force into awareness and the body. You can walk anywhere in the world if you embody your God's force and know it is there, because you are not confined by the world when you embody God's force. Being in the world but not of it does not mean that you are better than other people, and it does not mean wearing white robes and having a holier-than-thou attitude towards others. Why does God allow evil? If God created everything and is everything, then did God create evil? God gave all sentient beings freedom of choice, which means freedom to do evil and to harm others. God was aware when creation took place that free will results in bad choices. Sentient beings do horrible things, and that does not mean that God is evil. Even the fallen ones are the faces of God. There is a trick being played in the New Age movement, the idea that God does not care, and there is no negative or positive, therefore, good and evil are equal. This false teaching leads one to consider that it does not matter if you choose to do good or evil. However, this is a twist and a lie. The original intention of creation is for loving, free expression of consciousness and cooperation between the parts of God that knew they were parts of God. God's desire is for joy, not neutrality, nor the feeling of indifference between negative and positive emotions. There is a false teaching that the neutrality of emotions is a state of nirvana. Becoming detached to the point where you feel nothing and feel no difference between good and evil does not mean you are becoming more like God. God feels every pain and every joy felt by any person. Therefore, every time we hurt, God hurts. God hurts every time we inflict hurt on others. Of course, God does not want us to hurt and hurt others. In creation, free will was the key. God wanted to create portions of itself in its image, which means sentient beings must be free to choose what they would like to experience. This also means that sentient beings could choose to go against creation and harm others. The sentient beings who are going against creation have forgotten they are a part of God and cannot remember how to connect the feeling of the presence of God. When we come out of polarity consciousness, we experience oneness with creation or unity consciousness. Unity consciousness is when we begin to experience the blessedness within good and evil, as well as pain and sorrow. This does not mean that we like evil or pain, it means we understand and, in some circumstances, allow it. If God tried to stop evil, then God would no longer give us the gift of free will, which would undermine creation. Joy and happiness require free will. Sentient beings have distorted creation by choosing evil, but if this were not allowed, then creation would not take place. There is a rebalancing, and this is set into the structure of the cosmos. Because God's original intention was perpetual, eternal creation, the ability to self-sustain is built into the structure of the universe. If, at any point, creation gets too far out of balance, then there will be a rebalancing. This rebalancing would be the consequence of energy, not a vengeful God punishing the wicked. This rebalancing means that we will experience the consequences of our actions. We get shown the consequences of our actions in little ways. However, greater harm results in more serious consequences. How did we get into this mess? When did it first begin? Why has evolution not been progressing as it should? Why are we still killing each other? What causes psychopathic tendencies in humans? This mess began with the Anunnaki races, code convolution, and subsequent wars over 250 billion years. The founders created three distinct race forms: the Anahazi Elohai Elohim feline hominid, the Inu Brahmarama cetacean race, and the Ceres Seraphi Seraphim avian hominid. The Lyran constellation is the cradle of life in this galaxy. These three races were seated on three planets: the Elohai Elohim on Lyra Arimatina, the Brahmayama race on Lyra Vayan, and the Seraphi Seraphim on Lyra Vega. The Emerald Covenant is an agreement between the three founder race consciousness collectives and any species that would create peace in the galaxy and a co-evolution system where they would work together in harmony. There are 12 stargates between Density 4 and 1. Density 1 is third-dimensional reality. The stargates allow manifestations to come into physicality to create matter and for interstellar travel. Lyra Arimatina is the location of the original stargate, the entry point from higher dimensions. The Elohai Elohim were appointed the guardians of Lyra Arimatina and Stargate 12. Lyra Avalon has Stargate 11 and is co-occupied by the Elohai Elohim and one of the Brahmayama founder races. The Seraphi Seraphim are guardians of Stargate 10 on Lyra Vega. These original races in the Lyra cooperated for about 700 billion years until they experimented with genetic manipulation about 250 billion years ago. Several races were creating new life forms, new variations of themselves to experience creation, which also created distortions in their consciousness. Genetic engineering resulted in corruption or convolution of the genetic blueprint. This code convolution can be compared to inbreeding. When a genetic line is combined within itself too many times, distortions are introduced in its pattern. This is also true on Density 4, not with chemicals but with scalar wave templates. War broke out between the mutant Seraphi Seraphim of Lyra Vega at Stargate 10 and a faction of the Elohai Elohim at Stargate 11. The fallen Elohai Elohim wanted to destroy Lyra Vega but save the Brahmarama who were cohabitating with Seraphi Seraphim on Lyra Vega, and they asked the High Council of Lyra Arimatina for permission to destroy Lyra Vega. The High Council rejected the proposal and offered a pathway toward rehabilitation of both races. The rebel group of Elohai Elohim did not like this answer and destroyed Lyra Arimatina. The destruction of Lyra Arimatina destroyed the founders and the High Council. After this, the Elohai Elohim went after the Seraphi Seraphim. The Elohi Elohim created a hybrid race called the Anu Elohim. The Anu Elohim wanted to be creator gods and take over the whole universe. The Christus founder races created humans, a Lyran-Syrian race form also called the Oraphim, to reverse the damage by the fallen races and facilitate healing by reversing their convoluted DNA. In response, the Anu Elohim later created the Anunnaki race to destroy humans. The consequence of all this genetic manipulation and wars was two fallen races, the fallen Anu Elohim and the Seraphim. The destruction of Stargate 12 on Lyra Amatina created a black hole. The black hole leads to a phantom matrix. The black hole has been progressively pulling this time matrices and galaxies into the phantom matrix to feed off the energy. The fallen races will eventually suck the entire universe into the fallen matrix black hole system unless the rip in spacetime is healed. The fallen beings in the phantom matrix were originally part of our matrix. The fallen angelic beings wanted to create their twisted creation. The story of Lucifer challenging God and wanting to create his universe is a kindergarten version of a large interdimensional drama that took place involving groups of founder races. The founder races were trying to help the fallen ones who could not recognize their connection to creation. The fallen ones were trying to take over the known universe to become creator gods, and this is how they ended up in a black hole matrix. This drama has been ongoing, and we are now in the time of closing this grand drama, which has spanned hundreds of billions of years. The end to the conflict will either go in the direction of the fall or towards the redemption of the fallen races. The phantom time matrix has pulled in so much frequency that it has more frequency than this time matrix.